a routine, calculation. We spent a couple of months together, but look, you're not the one, you're not it. So he was 1 minute flying high, next minute he just totally plummeted to the ground. It was a crash. It was quite a blow. So this is what happens because we need to go outside of ourselves for fulfillment. We need to depend on persons and situations outside of ourselves, and we actually don't have any control. Now bear in mind, we don't have control over our own mind and senses, yet we expect everything else to be under control. So we leave ourselves wide open for frustration and disappointment. Especially now, as the world becomes a more and more of an unpredictable place, more and more of a chaotic place. Social psychologists point out that now, for the first time in known human history, the world is not the same as when you were born. In previous generations, you could pretty much expect the world to be the same as when you were born throughout your life. But now it is totally unlike that. You could expect previously the world to be pretty much the same in terms of culture and social dealings and social psychologies. Now that's all out the window. The world's changing so fast. There's great difference between successive generations. You're very different from your nieces or nephews. And with each wave of children, the differences become more pronounced because the world's changing so fast. So how can we even depend on our own mind and senses to give us precise readings of what we want and need in such a swirling, chaotic world? But still, we have this desire, this burning desire that my wants and needs should be fulfilled. And we're willing to put ourselves in very risky situations. Just think in your life, the times when you exposed yourself in one way or another just because you wanted to be needed or wanted. You felt the ends justify the means. I'll put myself in a precarious or exposed situation because who knows? The end result might be someone needs me and wants me. Think about it. We're so hungry for completion. Often people tell me that as a reason for why they hook up, for example. They say, look, he or she makes me feel complete. And that's supposed to be self-explanatory. Oh, yeah. Have you ever asked someone what that really means? Generally, you just take it at face value. Oh, yes, he or she makes you feel complete. I understand. But have you ever inquired, can you please explain that more? Before you were incomplete, there was a gap. Now, what exactly was that gap? And now the gap is being filled by what? It's often hard for people to explain. The question is, can a tiny living entity actually fulfill all your needs? Can another spark fulfill the needs of your spark? The yoga texts explain that actually what you are wanting is the supreme fire. Another tiny person doesn't have what it takes to satisfy you, to fulfill you. They don't have the potency. But something in this world makes us mad to believe. Yes, you can do it. I know you can do it. If you want to, you can recognize that you have what it takes to fulfill me. Now just recognize it. Right? Sometimes you want to shake the other person. Look, you've got it. You've got it. Just recognize it. You can do it if you want to. You can make me feel complete. I'm telling you. Accept it. In fact, you want to shake the other person. Basically, your desire to shake the other person is your fire of desire. You want to shake them, begging them, pleading with them, please fulfill my desires. I believe you can do it. I believe that you're capable. And sometimes you practically have to convince the other person. The other person's not sure. I don't know. But you're so hungry, you begin to assure the other person. Yes, you can. Yes, yes. You've got the ability. Believe me, I know you have the ability. This is how vulnerable we are, and this is how hungry we are. So the purpose of the Bhakti Yoga system is to understand our hankering is really for the supreme self-sufficient person. That's the goal of the yoga system. We are energy. We are not the energetic source. So therefore, we have to learn the science, the supreme spiritual science of connecting with the energetic source, connecting with Krishna for our true sense of completeness. It's really kind of cruel when you think about it to expect some tiny living entity to be able to supply all that you need. It's actually kind of hallucination. You get yourself worked up in the mind. You are the one. You are going to fulfill me. Do you understand? I have decided that you have what I need. So now all you have to do is make up your mind to act in a way that I want you to act, and then the universe will be fine. Right? You convince yourself that the other person can do the job. This tiny little living entity who hasn't sorted himself or herself out, but yet you imagine, never mind, you don't know who you are, you don't know why you're here, where you're going, but you can fulfill it. Isn't that quite dodgy? It's quite horrendous when you think about it. So next time, you please say to the other person that, I know that you don't know whom you are. I know you don't know why you're here, what the purpose of life is. I don't care. All you have to do, in fact, all you have to do is just pretend. Have you ever told someone? I've met people who said it. They honestly admit it. You're so hungry, the fire of desire for feeling complete is so strong that you've actually told the other person, look, just pretend you care for me. No one wants to admit to that, I know. Look, just pretend you love me, that would be good enough. Even the pretense we think, if someone pretends they care for you, at least there's something to add to your life. Even a shadow or reflection of what you consider to be the real thing, that would be a plus in your life. Just pretend you care for me, okay? Let's just pretend for a weekend or a week. Who knows? You might actually get into it. It's very cruel, as I pointed out, to pile all these expectations on a tiny individual's shoulders. Very, very cruel. This tiny living entity who's bewildered, doesn't know why he or she's in this world, doesn't know their purpose in life, but you are the one. You are expected to make me feel complete. Do you understand? Repeat after me. Yes, it's so. Sometimes you feel like just training the other person. Look, I'll explain to you what you have to do. I'll explain to you how you should think, how I want you to think about me. Listen, I will explain to you. Listen with attention. This is how the fire of desire burns us. But, as I pointed out, no tiny individual can fulfill us. We have to look for fulfillment and satisfaction from a genuine source of fulfillment and satisfaction. And no living entity can take up that job. Now, does that mean we disregard all living entities and just ignore all human beings? No. The yoga texts recommend that the genuine way that you deal with other persons, other tiny entities, the sparks of the fire, is that together you assist one another in connecting to the supreme fire. Rather than be agents of illusion for one another, you learn to work in partnership for reconnecting with the supreme self-sufficient one, or reconnecting with Krishna. Then the relationship is based on reality. In other words, rather than one person saying to the other, or actually a few persons saying to other persons, I can do it for you, I have what you need. Rather than saying that, why not be honest and say, I can't fulfill you on my own. I'm incomplete. I don't have sufficient potency to fulfill you. But together we can work to connect with the supreme self-sufficient one. And in that way, our relationship is for real. That's the yoga way of relating to others. As Krishna points out in Bhagavad Gita, the true yogi sees the genuine equality of all living entities in their happiness and distress, regardless of the different packagings of happiness and distress. Karma brings us different amounts of happiness and distress, but that's external. The true yogi sees that everyone's actually equal in spite of wearing different clothes formed of karma, different amounts of happiness and distress. Everyone is actually equal as parts of the Supreme, as parts of Krishna. So that spiritual equality is realized in connection with Krishna. So when two sparks, instead of pretending you're the supreme fire for me, I'm the supreme fire for you, if they instead help one another to focus on the supreme fire, the real supreme fire, then that relationship is for real. It's productive. Now let's talk a bit about Krishna as the supreme self-sufficient person. We already explained Krishna as the complete whole. And Krishna never goes outside of himself to enjoy. Whatever Krishna does, he's dealing with his own energy. Now his energies are variegated. Often even in material existence, it is said that variety is the spice of life. That saying gives you just a glimpse into the supreme pleasure of the supreme self-sufficient person. Krishna has multifarious energies. Krishna has variegated energies. That variety is all there for his pleasure. So not only does Krishna have energies, but they're variegated, they're full of variety. So whenever Krishna enjoys, he's simply dealing with his own variegated energies. He never goes outside of himself. He never takes on risk that he may be unfulfilled. His enjoyment is flawless, unlimited.